Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Nerd Rant. I'm Dr. Zombrain, also known as Seth, with my co-host.
JJ, aka Junior Wolf, and Seth. We have a guest
You
today.
sounded robotic there. We have a guest. For the first time, I want to say, since Timothy?
I think so. I think he was our last person we had on.
Like, actually? No,
I think so.
no, Lexi. Like, three
Oh, that's
times.
right. We did the
I'm
Avatar
so sorry,
episodes.
Lexi.
That's
I don't
right.
know why I completely forgot. Because she was on like 3 different times.
Yeah.
For the Avatar and then when I was gone.
Hmm.
So, with all 3... No, yeah, even with her, because we both did the Avatar. Okay, I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long weekend.
But, guest, who are you?
I am Kieran, aka Cross K-Dog.
What's up?
Whoopty-doo-dah.
So, yeah.
Kieran, tell us 3 random facts about yourself. Go.
I am a Linux user. I am a very in-depth Minecraft player, and I have built multiple PCs.
Okay, and the most important that our fans need to know, what is your favorite Fortnite season?
Um, uh, Chapter 3, Season 2.
Okay, that's fair.
Alright,
That's
alright.
great. That's honestly a great choice.
Yeah, that is a good one. Anything from Chapter 3 is a pretty solid choice.
Nah. Vibin' rough. Vibin' was rough.
Anyway, also, I guess I should probably mention that he's my brother.
Yep, they do
That's
indeed
probably
know each other
relevant. Yeah.
for more than 5 seconds of their life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's also start off before we get to this is part of the topic. Let's start off with what are the devices that we all use for gaming? With the general devices, the systems, and all that kind of stuff. I'll start because mine's pretty basic. I have a PS5 Pro. I do have a Switch 1. I have a pretty basic PC with 1050 Ti. And, you know, the occasional mobile Roblox grind. Something just fell.
Yeah, I'm not sure what just happened. It's like around the corner. It was either the cat or Lexi just made a
Okay.
bunch of stuff fall.
And then obviously my 1050, I use Windows 10 because my computer is not good enough for Windows 11.
Mm-hmm.
So Jide, what do you all use for your gaming?
I mainly
Choices.
use my Xbox Series X. We have an Xbox Series S as a secondary, and then I have my NVIDIA Acer Nitro 5 gaming laptop.
Nice.
Yeah. Kieran?
And
Um,
Kieran.
I have a pretty beefy computer. It's got an RTX 2080 Super, so I play mostly on that. I also have a laptop, which is running Linux currently.
Anything else?
No, that's pretty much
That's it?
it.
Okay.
I do a bit of emulation here and there. Play the
Yeah.
older classic consoles.
And this is actually pretty important to today's episode. We're talking about PlayStation versus Xbox. Kinda. Kinda.
Yeah,
Except
it's
Oh,
we got
boy.
a third party in here, which is not Nintendo, because Nintendo's still in its own little world. Let's be honest.
Nintendo exists within its bubble. Nobody can pop that bubble. They just they're off to the side.
And I think the Switch 2 honestly cemented that. Like, after the Switch 2 launch, like, with how overpriced it was, there was no games, and then we look at Pokemon, but at the same time, the Switch 2 is one of the most sold consoles in the first, 48 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Sold more than the Switch 1 and PlayStation 5?
Yeah. So they exist. They're fine. Whatever. But that's not who we're talking about today.
We will mention them, though, because they will be
Yeah.
important to this conversation.
Probably. Who are we talking about, Kieran?
We are talking about Valve or
Now-
Steam.
Yep, there you go. I was going to say,
There
if you
we
don't
go,
know who
Steam.
Valve is, it's Steam. It is Valve. That is the parent company, but
Yeah.
Steam is what everyone knows them as. No one
I-
talks about the Valve console. They talk about
I
the
have
Steam Deck.
asked people about Valve recently just because of all this stuff, and people are like, who's Valve? And then I'll say Steam, and they're like, oh, okay.
It's like Tencent. Everything's Tencent, but no one knows who Tencent is. You know,
Yeah.
Activision and Microsoft.
But yeah, so Steam/Valve had a big presentation over the past. What day was that? Does anybody know what day this
literally
happened?
2 days ago.
Thursday.
Like Thursday, yeah, 2 days ago.
Okay.
Shadow
cool.
drop, by the way.
Yeah,
Shadow
literally.
drop.
Just a random day of the week. Like, no, like, warning that this was
Not even
coming.
that.
There weren't even
No
that many
leaks.
leaks about it. Yeah.
Like, there was no information like build up. Like, we already
Well,
know the price points of the
We'll
PS5.
talk about that. There was
I mean,
some leaks a while
There
ago.
were, but not the size that we have of the other mainstream
But-
consoles.
Yeah.
Nobody expected this to just drop out of nowhere.
No.
Mm-hmm. Not like people follow console leaks pretty heavily. Like the Xbox Pringles can that was rumored. Like people were taking that leak seriously because we got leaks like that before for the other consoles.
Yeah, the Xbox 720 back in the day.
Anyway.
So yeah,
So-
we're gonna pretty much be mentioning all these. There is how many products were it? Was it a
There
news?
were
Three.
There were 3 products announced: the Steam controller, the Steam machine, and the Steam frame. The VR
frame is VR, machine is console.
console.
Yep,
PC.
so-
Controller. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about the specifics here in a moment,
Yeah.
but that's pretty much. So, I just want to mention first of all, that is honest. I'm more excited about that than the machine itself. To have such a good ecosystem. I love the PlayStation. The PlayStation VR 2 works really well. Mine just doesn't work, but the system itself works great. The controller, pop between them two, all that kind of stuff. I like the Apple ecosystem as well, being able to swap your headphones and like messages back and forth. So to have another good gaming ecosystem is really great because there is no Xbox anything really. There's no Xbox handheld.
Yeah.
It's not Xbox.
Xbox has taken the route instead of
And-
having like a hardware
Yeah.
ecosystem, they've gone down the route of their software works on anything and you can access their software from anything, but their software is all that they have. Like they don't have
Yeah.
a headset, they
Be-
won't have
I think
a
because
handheld.
of their software, their overall experience is a little bit worse because they don't have the hardware that's catered to that specific
Yeah.
thing.
So having competition and along with just other options is what I'm more excited about because Xbox is just not competition for a lot of the spaces that PlayStation has. So having competition for PlayStation is going to make PlayStation a better experience, but it's also just, it's nice to have these ecosystems. I know they can kind of be toxic sometimes as well when they're super locked in like Apple. I don't think Steam's going to be like that, but PlayStation is also like that a little bit. You know, it's not going to be easy use across devices or something, but I feel like Valve
Especially
is gonna
because Steam
that
is
better.
built off of like the open source kind of idea. Like all the stuff
Exactly.
they've done has been built off of let's make this accessible and easy to use for absolutely everyone at zero cost, if any. Like
Yeah.
And when the Steam Deck released, which is their handheld, they actually put out drivers and software so that you could even install Windows on it. That's how much
they're not
they
trying to
they-
lock you into that ecosystem.
Yeah.
Another big thing with this that I think I've seen a lot of people talk about and something to definitely get your hopes up, but still 2025, 2026, be optimistic, but be skeptical because that's just the world we live in. But with Valve does not have shareholders. Like when it comes to Microsoft and Sony, they have shareholders. There are certain standards and stuff that they have to follow, whether that's for the community, consumer or for the shareholders. There's certain standards, whereas Valve doesn't have that. It's more so just it's whatever Gabe wants.
Which I do want to mention here. I like somehow had never heard this man's name before in my life. Like being a game geek, a like computer, well, I guess not computer geek, not as much as Kieran over here, but like a tech geek, I guess. I had never heard his name in my life. And so when this all came up, I was like, what, why are
Wait,
they calling
really?
it the Game Cube?
Until
Yeah.
this week.
I was like, I don't know who this guy is. And I Google it and I'm like, oh, he's like the owner, like the guy who did Steam. He did these games. He did like all of this stuff. And he's inventing all this tech. And I'm like, how have I not heard his name before?
He is
It's pretty
such
easy.
a-
JJ is both a super part of communities, but at the same time, he lives under a rock in said community that he's actively a part of.
Gabe
Like
is
the amount
such...
of Fortnite and Minecraft lore that drops and you just don't realize it. Also, this is exactly the type of thing that I wanted to mention at the beginning, but I completely forgot. We're gonna hit back to that intro, the random free-for-all information of the week. Guys, did you know there's a new Minecraft game out? Completely new official Minecraft game, but it's only in Malaysia. What? And do you know who made it? The same people that made Candy Crush. It is Candy Crush Minecraft, where you have to build your base by collecting things via Candy Crush. Not Candy Crush the game, but like that type of mechanic. This is an official game.
What?
Why?
Mojang
is
and King
only
launched
Malaysia.
Minecraft
Stuff's
Blast
coming early.
playtest in Malaysia. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So funny. And it is going to be updated. There's going to be clans and teams. Like, it is going to be Candy Crush, but Minecraft coded.
That's so
Wow.
wild.
So
That's
I don't blame JJ for
interesting.
not seeing that one, though. I only know that because of Cam Man age 18. But
Bruh.
Yeah, I did not
Anyway.
know that either.
that was just complete random video that I saw. Thank you for you, Paige, for blessing me with that knowledge of the week. Anyway, back to Steam.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Uh,
Gabe Newell, he's such a legend in the PC space that there's memes about how much of a freaking Chad he is.
I don't even think it's PC space. It's generally like he is generally so much more positive pro gamer, like just in
Yeah,
the gaming
just
space as a
gaming.
whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But obviously mostly PC because Valve and a lot of those types of games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do want to mention ahead of this, especially because we're going to be talking about the full ecosystem here, and a lot of things are going to come up. Just because I think Steam is going to benefit a lot here, just because of when they are launching this ecosystem, because a lot of the gaming giants like Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo, they have been here since gaming started, and we're kind of like, we're so far along that we have all these different types of stuff to game on. Steam has only ever been a PC like thing. Like it's only ever existed as a PC app to buy games.
And they've tried to do consoles before. It didn't really work out. This is technically their second go around, but it has never been as easy to use as it is right now and will be once the Steam machine releases.
Yeah.
But I think because of when they're releasing all of this, it is going to massively benefit them because they are able to take the opportunity to launch a full ecosystem all at once. Like, yes, it's nice to progressively release things because then people can buy stuff over time and not have to,
Every
shell out all this
generation
money
has a
right
new
away.
product, a part of the
But-
ecosystem.
Now, because they're launching this all at once, not only are we all going to be able to access it in our medium that we prefer, especially because the Steam Deck is already out there, but like say I like Steam and I have a lot of PC games, but I only really play VR, I can buy their new VR thing. Or if I really only play on console, I can buy the Steam Cube. I can, like, there's a lot of things here for everybody to get involved in. Like, you don't have to be in the PC space in order to enjoy this. And I think that is one of the reasons it has blown up in publicity, but I think it'll also be one of the reasons that it ends up working out for them in the end.
I think the VR is going to be huge. Just because the fact that it can play any Steam game already by itself, plus also Steam VR games, I think anybody who has a VR headset is going to see this and see it as an upgrade and want to get it.
Yeah. So question, Kieran, because you probably will know this better. I saw people saying that the PlayStation does it do something specifically with that? Because the PlayStation does that too with the PlayStation VR 2. I can play any PlayStation game at like 90 frames, 1080p on the headset itself, and then obviously the VR games itself. But I can play any game with just a normal PS5 controller in the headset.
With the PlayStation VR, it's hooked up to the PlayStation. Like it is.
Yeah.
At that point, you're just using it as a screen. Whereas the Steam Frame is standalone. It doesn't have to hook up to anything. You can use it anywhere you want with or without a PC.
So same idea. It's not like the idea is different, just the product itself can be separated, unlike the VR and the Portal. Okay.
yeah.
because I didn't know if it did something specific. Because I'm like, I can play any of my PlayStation games on my VR. It's just the fact that it can be standalone.
Yeah, it can play any Steam game, and then it can also play Steam VR games, and it can hook up wirelessly to the Steam machine and any computer with their dongle.
Yeah,
Because
and get that extra power and
is-
battery and stuff.
It's specifically built to do wireless streaming super well compared to any other standalone headset.
Which is really nice because for the people who aren't like super serious into VR, one of the biggest things and one of the reasons that a lot of people gravitated towards the MetaQuest was because it didn't have a tether, right? It didn't have all this extra equipment that you have to set up. It didn't have cables and cords that you have to dance around. It was just the headset and the controllers. You put it on and you play the game. So this is going to be a big competitor for the Quest, which I think was well needed, let me just say, because the Quest is way too prideful in what it's doing and is taking way
And the
advantage of
PlayStation's
that.
good, but it's the fact that you need a PS5. If you really want to take advantage of that, that's a lot of money because that is $1,000 to get both of those products combined.
You can actually use the PSVR on PC.
I did see that's recent though, right? I think that's more
It came
recent.
out a couple months after the PSVR 2 release.
Okay, what was new? I thought there was something new that you can use the. Okay. I don't know. I didn't look too much into it. I thought that was more recent, like this year. But yeah,
Now, when you
I
use
think-
it on PC, it doesn't have all the same features that it does when you use it on PlayStation 5, but it is still a pretty good VR headset. For the
Okay.
price.
Yeah,
Now,
I
with
think this.
the MetaQuest, I own a MetaQuest 2, and it's okay, but the fact that it can't run PC VR, like the big, high-quality AAA VR games.
It's a very
Nowadays,
low power
these-
system. Like it's a standalone and it works
Yeah.
well, but it doesn't have the specs that you would expect out of something comparable to PC.
Now, the Steam frame isn't going to be that much more powerful. It's going to be more powerful than the MetaQuest 3, but the big thing is the software because it's SteamOS and they have their specs translation layer so that it can run PC VR games.
Nice. So this can actually play everything, unlike some console Xbox Ally.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that?
I don't know if we did.
It's been a lot chaotic last few months, and it's just we've done so many episodes where we just do everything. So if you guys aren't aware, pretty much the Xbox handheld came out, but it's not an Xbox handheld. It's just the ROG Ally with an Xbox coating, and it can play all of the Xbox PC games, but it cannot play the console games. So for $1,000, it is only the PC games. So for $1,000, why not just get a PC?
But
or
then
Steam
again,
Deck?
it can play Steam games, but
Yeah. But then at that
comparing
point,
it
get
to
a
a
Steam
Steam
Deck.
Deck, it's
for
not even close.
$1,000, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's a
The
good
Steam
experience,
Deck-
but for $1,000.
It is more powerful than a Steam Deck, but as an overall package, I think the Steam Deck is way better. And I own a Steam Deck.
Just better price because, like, cool. Especially due to the fact that theoretically you can probably get your Xbox games on there because you can download different stuff on those, right?
You can run
not
Windows on it, meaning
Xbox.
you could get the Xbox app, right?
Yeah, running Windows is more than just installing another launcher. It's way easier to play Epic games or GOG games on the Steam Deck than it is to do Xbox games.
But
you
it is
can
possible,
stream
right?
Xbox games.
And
It
that's
is
true. You can
possible,
Steam
yes.
it too,
Mhm.
and that's just the big thing. You can just have the option.
Anyways, we should probably move to another thing because we're already at 18 minutes for this. So we'll save the console for last. Let's talk about the controller for a minute because I'm still a little lost on this controller. It looks like it should be awesome, but one, it's really ugly. Right? Like I'm not the only one who sees that, right? Like it looks
I
ugly.
mean, I like it. To me, it looks a lot like the Switch Pro controller.
I was about to
for
say
the
it looks
original
like a
Switch,
rip-off Switch controller.
but then they threw on the trackpad and
Mhm.
beefed it up a little bit at the bottom.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that it's so square. It just looks
Yeah.
like it would be a pain to hold.
It looks
but-
like a Switch or mobile controller, like something that you
I-
buy for that.
I
Mhm.
trust Valve because their ergonomics for both their VR headset controllers that they did in the past, the Knuckles controllers and the Steam Deck and the original Steam controller were all amazing. They were super comfortable, and I love it. So I think they'll do very good with this.
Now, I did watch the Linus Tactics breakdown video of all the tech, and he said in this controller, I forget exactly the term he used, but for the joysticks, he said it was some sort of magnetic joystick.
Yep.
Is this
It's a newer technology than the previous, like, kind of big fad of magnetic joysticks. So it's even better. But with the magnets, instead of like the contact surfaces, it won't wear down, and it should be pretty much immune to stick drift.
Okay, good. Because that was what I was wondering, really. Is this going to be like our first, like a mainstream first-party controller that takes advantage of those kinds of sticks that don't get stick drift? Because Xbox and PlayStation still both use the older style, and I feel like they just get stick drift so fast. Like even my Xbox Elite 2 controller that I spent almost $200 on, it got stick drift within like 6 months of me using it. And sure, like they have the built-in dead zones and stuff, but like it just feels like that would be the main thing that I would want to be good quality out of an expensive controller.
So Seth, I know you have a Switch. I sold you my Switch.
Yeah.
Have you had any stick drift issues with that? Because the Switch was very bad when it came to stick drift.
So, maybe two things. One, I don't play it enough to really see that, and two, I will be honest, I just despise the Switch controller. I bought an actual controller as soon as possible, so I have a plug and play like full normal controller because I just could not use the joysticks. They are just too small for me. So like even playing something like Minecraft, it just felt awful. So
that's something
I don't
on
know.
the Steam frame. Their controllers have full-size joysticks, which is amazing because pretty much every other VR controller has tiny little joysticks.
So with this technology, I'll ask this question. So I do think the PlayStation 5 is obviously the better controller of PlayStation and Xbox just because it has all the extra stuff. Xbox, it's not necessarily a bad controller, but compared to the previous generation, it doesn't do much. This one added stuff. But do you think that this is a big enough of a party, Valve, and this space to push the PlayStation and Xbox to possibly upgrade those joysticks finally in their next generation?
I think that they might still keep it for like pro stuff, like the Xbox Elite controller. I could see getting them, but I don't think that the mainstream, just regular Xbox controller will get it anytime soon because I think they're gonna try and cut as much cost as possible.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to those big AAA consoles, they have to keep their cost of production low in order to make enough money off of each sale. Because controllers are already $60 each.
I mean, on Xbox.
Yeah,
they lose money on
controllers are already
Xbox and
$60
PlayStation.
each. So like the fact that they're probably, I mean, I guarantee you it doesn't cost them $60 to make a controller. It probably costs them about
like
40.
40.
But even if they brought it up to like where it did cost like $40 or $50 to make a controller, they would have to pump the price of the actual controller itself up to like $80 to $90 in order to still make significant profit on it. And so, yeah, that just when it comes to parts like that, I understand why they don't, but I do think that when it comes to Elite stuff, that they should bite the bullet and just use the better quality.
The PlayStation has the Pro controller that you can buy too. So maybe next generation, because the other hard part is when this is coming out, we already have leaks of the PS6 and the next Xbox coming out. We already have leaks and price points and different stuff like that. Nothing confirmed, like leaked price points. They're confirmed that they're coming though, but the controller's obviously already in production, right? Like it's already being developed. So I could see it just being harder for something like that, but maybe like a mid-gen, like maybe if we got a PS6 Slim or Pro, maybe that can come with it for the base controller, or the Elite ones when they come out. Because when did they come out for the Xbox? Was it like 6 months, a year later?
They had Elite controllers for the Xbox One. This is the Elite 2 that I think actually launched a little before the Series X did.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess because they really are the same controller. Like, there wasn't
Yeah.
really any difference to need one.
There's one
Yeah.
button.
And what does that button do?
The
Isn't that,
share
like, share?
button.
Yeah. Which,
Yep.
like, by the way, PS4 had that. Like, I don't know what's happening.
Switch had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the other thing that I feel is worth mentioning here is probably, well, I guess there's two. One, the trackpads we need to talk about, and two, the, what's the word? The motion.
Gyro?
Yeah, gyro, thank you. The gyro
I think-
controls.
Steam input in general, we should also talk about that because this controller combined with Steam input will be it.
Yeah. So we'll start with gyro because I feel like that one's just, it's one of those more niche products. I don't think, well, actually, so, Kieran, what do you think about this? Because could we see something like the gyro move with the cursor on your screen to be able to like move it up and down?
With Steam input right now on the Steam Deck, you can set it so there's capacitive touch in the joysticks. You can set it when you put your finger on the joystick or when you put your finger on the trackpad, then it enables gyro. And you can set that to mouse, you can set that to camera, a bunch of stuff because Steam input is so customizable. So you can move your Steam Deck and it'll move the cursor around on your screen.
Okay.
Which
so that
I
could
feel
be nice then.
this is really interesting, especially following the Switch 2's kind of like mouse Joy-Con thing. Because now, and especially when it comes to how I've been using the gaming laptop recently, like I'll set it up, hook it up to HDMI to our TV, and I'll be like trying to use it for our like streaming services and stuff with a controller on the couch. But obviously I have to like back end it because there's no good way to use a controller for like browser activities. But when it comes to this stuff, I might actually be able to map, like if I were to get like the Steam console and have the controller, I could map stuff to actually be able to navigate all
You
of that
should
from the
try.
couch.
You can use Steam input with any controller on any computer, so you should try doing that. I believe it's in Steam settings. You should be able to go controls or something. You should try that and see how you like it, because you can map your joystick to a mouse input and your triggers to like clicks or whatever.
Can it be active while I'm doing like browser activities?
So it's a layout. You make a layout for desktop. So anytime you're on a desktop without a game open through Steam, it'll use that mapping. And then when you open a game or an application that you've added to Steam, then it can switch to any layout you want.
So would I have to add like my browser to Steam in order to get that to work?
If you wanted a custom layout for your browser individually, yes. But if you just want to make like a mouse layout, you could use that with anything you want. And you don't have to add it to Steam.
Maybe I'll have to try that. But yeah, no, I think this controller will be really good universally for a lot of things, because this is, I want to say this is like the first controller that's going to be good for no matter what you use, because even if you're a PS5 user, one of the biggest things that the PS5 controller has that even I love about it and wish Xbox would do was the trackpad, like that amazing like touchpad at the top. Like that is so cool, really innovative, and I love how their first party games use it. And now with this one, it has a trackpad, meaning if I were to play a PS5 game with this controller, I still have that. I don't have to miss out on that.
And it has two trackpads that can be bound separately to do different things.
So this is like the first controller we've gotten in a while that's going to be like awesome to use and very compatible to use with no matter what system you decide to use it with.
And that's been the goal with Steam input, is to make controllers compatible with as many games as possible. And so far it's been as good as you could hope for just a software. So with a controller designed for it, I think it'll be even.
Also, the Xbox controller doesn't have gyro either, right?
No.
So like, it just blows my mind that like Microsoft, this like one of the biggest tech giants, still has such a bare bones controller.
Well,
And I
on
mean,
PC, on PC, gyro isn't really supported by pretty much any game because it all uses X input, and X input doesn't support gyro.
Yeah, and Xbox is trying to cater to both PC and console, so I guess it makes sense.
Because like it's not that I use it much, but it's just like it's a nice thing to have. Like like obviously the PlayStation controller is more expensive, but it has that trackpad, it has adaptive triggers, it has gyro controls, so it has a lot of these extra features.
I'm excited for the grip surface on the bottom of the controller to see how that works with the gyro, because you can just like tighten your grip on the controller and it'll recognize that. So that would be an amazing way to trigger gyro.
And
yeah,
then I saw them talking about that. Like every part of the controller is going to be an input, basically. Like no matter what you do, where you place your finger, how tightly you hold it, where you hold it, it's going to sense that, and you can make that a bind to something.
And then it also does have back buttons as well, like built in. So like
4 back buttons.
So then how many buttons? Because each of the trackpads could be their own button too, right? So like how many theoretical inputs could you make with this?
A lot.
24 buttons for 20. There are 26 buttons on the controller, plus the trackpad directional inputs and the joystick direction. And the trackpads can be bound to like radial menus. So you could you can layer radial menus. So you just put your finger on the trackpad, it opens a menu, you move in a direction, and it selects an input. So you can have
the Fortnite
infinite
emote wheel.
buttons.
So like that definitely is nice. The thing is though, like where I think this is definitely where it kind of goes depending on the type of person you are. I don't think this is for everyone because that sounds really nice, but then it's just so much extra work. Whereas people want to plug and play and they kind of want a more base. Like I think the reason why Xbox is also still such a big controller and that's where all the third parties use is because it is universal and it's basic. Like everyone knows how to use it. There is no extra feature that like, how do I do this?
The ripoffs can make such a really good ripoff because they don't have to put out all this extra money for these fancy stuff that the PS5 controllers have. That's why every single cheap controller you find at like a GameStop is more modeled after an Xbox because there's just less stuff in Xbox, so it's easier to make it look like that.
And I think this is pretty much the same thing as like my point of view on the Apple versus Android. Android is great. Steam is great. But if you just kind of want to plug and play, it doesn't really do anything. Like there's nothing that Steam's calling to me because that just seems like a lot of extra work for controller when I probably would just be doing keyboard and mouse on these games. So
Over
like why
the
would
lifetime of the Steam Deck, it has been getting easier and easier to have just a hit play, everything just works. They've been, when they verify a game for Steam Deck, they make sure there's a controller layout designated for that game. So your controller will just work. And they make sure it launches without any issues. And they are doing that for the console and the VR headset. They're going to be verifying games.
So you don't have to do any of that extra work, and the game itself will tell you if it uses any of those extra features.
Okay.
Yeah. And
it's not that that's bad. It's just for me, like that's one reason why I also like am so hesitant to switch to PC. Like not only would I have to rebuy my games, but my PlayStation is just plug and play. Like I don't have to mess around with all that kind of stuff. Making sure it performs well enough, but also all these settings to make sure it looks well enough and like control-wise.
I have played a few games now on my Steam Deck that don't support controller and haven't been verified yet. And I've been able to find a community layout that takes the controller and gives you all the inputs you need. There are options like with the trackpads. If you want to play a game that's for mouse and keyboard only, you have a mouse. It's not translating a joystick into a mouse. So they're trying to take the mouse and keyboard benefit of playing on PC and giving it to you in an easy-to-use plug-and-play kind of form factor for using it on a console or a handheld that you don't have a mouse and a keyboard, or you want the ease of use that a controller gives.
What time are we at, by the way?
We're at 34, so we have like 5 minutes
Okay.
to spend on this still, and I do have one last thing that I want to bring up. This mysterious puck that the controller uses. I've heard a lot of things that it does, but I still don't know what it does. I
So
know it
is-
magnets to the controller. I think it can charge the controller, kind of like
Oh.
my Elite controller has like the
Interesting.
back thing that goes on it, but like it also works as a wireless Bluetooth thing for.
So it is
computers?
it's a 2.4 gigahertz dongle, I believe. I don't think it's Bluetooth. It might be Bluetooth. But so it doesn't use Bluetooth. So it should be faster than a Bluetooth connection. But it's also a charger, so it'll magnet to your controller and charge it, so you don't have to like plug it in.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have multiple plugged in, and each dongle, I believe, supports 4 controllers.
So, but
So-
are these dongles completely wireless?
No, they do plug into your computer.
Okay, so
So-
you have to plug that into your computer and it can charge it.
I
But-
think the controller also works over Bluetooth. So if you
It
don't
does.
want
So
to use
prefer
a dongle, you
Bluetooth
don't
or
have.
USB. So it's pretty much if you want to do Bluetooth and quick like that, sure. Or like a wireless mouse type of thing, you have to plug that in, and it is wireless, but that's the connect. That's where it's going towards, not the Bluetooth of the PC, but
It's the
this
receiver.
port.
And I know it also said that with this puck, you can have up to 12, 16 players? Like
Yeah, 'cause
controllers hooked
I
up?
think 4 controllers per puck and 4 pucks connected at a time. I think.
But then here's my thing. Do you like wirelessly connect the controller to the puck?
I think when you attach the controller to the puck, like when it charges, I think that just connects it to that puck.
So you would just go and attach it to 4 controllers and it would be linked to
Yeah.
all 4?
Like when you slide a Joy-Con onto the Switch, it then links that Joy-Con to the Switch, and when you take it off, it's then paired.
So what would happen if I did a 5th one? Would it get rid of the first one?
I'm guessing so. Well, we won't know until. we
Yeah,
have it.
I don't think we know enough to like really like this is how it's supposed to work, but like all these other nuances or ways that it might break, we don't know because we haven't messed around with it, and
Yeah.
they haven't. Because again, mind you guys, this is 2 days ago. All of this was announced.
Yeah.
2 days ago. So all these Q&A questions, we're still asking the questions for the Q&A to be made, pretty much.
Yeah.
No price point on any of this. So like I think that's the big thing where we should probably end with these two before we get to the console. The headset and the controller. What are we thinking the price points might be for these?
I think,
think-
just based on what I know about it, I think the controller is probably going to be $70 or $80. I don't see it being as much as an Xbox. Like that seems too low because Xbox is just so much more bare bones and it's still $60. But I don't see it being over $100 because then, I mean, who's gonna buy that then?
Because that's a pro control. That's not a base control. That's a
Mhm.
pro controller.
That's like
price
a
point.
serious like pro controller. And so if they're really trying to market to console gamers with this drop, they need to make it under $100. So I'm thinking probably 80 would be a good spot.
The DualSense base is 75. So I'd say maybe 70, like that in between, like a little bit cheaper. They're trying to, but it obviously can't be as cheap as the Xbox. So I'd
The
say, I mean,
original
70.
Steam controller, when it launched, around
Clicking intensifies. Ooh. What do we got?
it's not on the Steam database. So. But I think
Oh,
it was
lovely.
around 60 to 70 when the original Steam controller
Mhm.
launched.
And this
So
one
I-
being an
I expect
upgraded one, I
somewhere
could
around
see it
that.
being like 80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
So,
it'll be a cheap
I'm
controller.
thinking so
but-
70 to 80, something like that. Kieran,
Mhm.
what are you thinking? Because obviously you're the one that does the VR a little bit more. What are you thinking for the VR headset, the Steam frame? What are we thinking about the price point for
So-
that?
I have a MetaQuest 2, and when that launched, it was $300. The MetaQuest 3 now, I think, is $400. I'm guessing since this can play PC VR games and it has features like eye tracking and stuff like that and high quality controllers, I think it'll be around 600.
Hey, that was gonna be my guess.
So I'm looking up the MetaQuest 3 for 500 gigabytes is 500. It is $499.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be around 600 because once again, they're going to want to market to people who are buying the Quest. Like this is Quest competition, so they're going to want to bring it down in price from their previous VR. What was that called? The Steam.
The Valve Index.
Yeah, the Valve Index. That one was like if you wanted to buy all the stuff, like even though like stands for your spatial tracking and whatnot. That was like over $1,000, I think, or around $1,000.
With that, it was definitely a premium headset. Like it had full finger tracking on the controllers, which the frame will have. But that was a high quality headset, and it had to have external trackers. It was outside in track, not inside out. And then it also came with controllers. So that was $1,000 for the whole kit.
Yeah, 1,000 for the kit.
It's
500
absolutely
for the headset.
100% going to be less than that. So if we're also expecting them to try and bring in the competition from the MetaQuest, then it's probably going to be kind of the median there, probably around 600.
I don't think they're going to really like super hard try to compete with the Quest because Meta is losing so much money on the Quest.
Yeah.
I know that Steam is like a very non-competitive kind of front. Like they have not tried
like I said, there's no
to be
shareholders.
the beast that they are.
They
have just done things that people liked, and that has brought more people in. So it's not like they're actively being like, yes, we need to try and steal the players from these other people.
But I think charging $1,000, even if it's worth that, is at the same time just not great.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be anywhere
I think
close
600
to
sounds good.
their first
Yeah.
headset.
Maybe
They have
6 to 750.
pancake lenses, which is what is used on the Quest headsets, which is a cheaper lens. They have LCD screens and not OLEDs like the higher end VR headsets have. It's inside out tracked. They've definitely cut some corners to get the cost down, but not like in a bad way. I think all the decisions they've made were reasonable to get it to as big of an audience as they can.
Anyway, we're at 42 minutes, so we got to talk about the console now.
Console is a thing, guys.
Yeah, the Steam Cube.
Also,
Steam
if I sound
machine.
muffled,
Steam Cube sounds better.
Steam Cube because I need companion cube skin.
Right.
Oh yeah, have you seen the D brand companion cube
Yeah.
skin?
I did.
Also, if I sound
I
muffled,
get
my
one of these,
nose
I'm
is
getting
bleeding
that.
for the 4th time today.
My guy, didn't you like have medical work to make that not happen?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same nostril, so I think it
What
came
the heck?
undone. My nose opened up again. The other
You better
problem
go
is it
sue
is
that
so
hospital.
the other thing, it is so cold that I'm not supposed to. I should have touched my nose, but my nose keeps running because it's so cold. So I can't not like do something.
Okay, back to the Steam
Back to
machine.
the Steam machine.
Steam
I just
Cube.
need-
I'm gonna call it by its actual
I'm
name.
honestly not gonna call it the Steam machine either, though. Like that just sounds really weird. Steam frame is
So-
okay, but like Steam machine just sounds off. Like it's
They
just-
they launched another product by the name of Steam Machine. I think it was 10 years ago or something like that. And it didn't really take off. They partnered with other companies to make them, so they weren't making them. But this is their own product. Valve is manufacturing this. So
Xbox
I
takes
think-
notes.
I think Steam Machine was a more general term. I don't know why they didn't name it something else. I don't think it's a great name for this.
Dude, the absolute best name for it would have been the companion cube. Like it would have been. I
that would
stand
have
by
been
that.
great.
I think that would have been the thing that sold this console is if they named it that, but they missed the opportunity.
I can't wait for like the introductory game, like the Aperture Desk Job type thing for the Steam Deck. But for this console, I
It's gonna
swear
be
if
great.
they don't call it the Cube in the game, I'm gonna be so upset.
So,
anyway,
there's
It's just a tiny 6-inch cube in all
it is
dimensions.
really small though. Yeah, it's showing the size compared to a banana. In
it's
the,
literally
cool
like
features.
half the size of the Xbox right now, and the Xbox is a pretty like small console for the power that it's packing.
Well, I went and I measured our Xbox Series X that we have,
Mhm.
and it's a little bigger than 6 inches by 6 inches, and then it's also really tall.
Mm-hmm.
So this is gonna be like half the size of a Series X,
So a little bit,
if not less.
a little less than the width and like length, but then much shorter, obviously. 'cause it's
Yeah,
a full
much
cube.
shorter.
Yeah, but okay. First, I just want to talk about the overall look of this thing is like insanely genius. Cause right, console people love customizing their console, right? Like people will buy the
PlayStation
plates for the
covers.
PS5, or
Yeah.
Xbox people will buy skins for their the sticker skins for the outside. Like I see more of those than I see bare consoles, and so when it comes to trying to market to console players, this was a genius move because now from the get-go, you have a way of not only licensing to other people to make some custom ones, but a way for people to make their own custom stuff. Because this plate, you can take it off. There's no tech in this plate. So you could dip it in acrylic, you could
Yo, that could be
you could
cool.
paint on it, you could do so many things with this because it's just a magnetic plate. And then stick
in
that on the
some
front of
of
your
the-
Steam Cube.
In some of the footage that they showed different types. They have a wood grain one. They
I
have
really
one
like
that's
that
been
wooden
sticker
one.
bombed.
Like it really,
looks
you could
awesome.
use it for your aesthetic. Like if you have a more just basic hole that you're using it like that for couch gameplay, it's
Yeah.
great. If you're more of a crazy gamer, then throw like some crazy colors or like magnetic look.
It's
to
gonna look so much better than the ugly PS5 sitting
PS5
next to your
is
TV.
just a space router,
Yeah,
and I
It-
think
it
it
is.
looks phenomenal.
it looks funny.
It
It's-
is. I don't
silly.
think it looks serious, but I like that. Like, it is my game console. Whereas this, you can make it look silly, but you can make it look serious as well
Mhm.
if you want
Like,
it for that type of thing.
The one that they showed in the example with the ink that shows your system vitals and stuff like that, that
Yep,
was
the
really
e-ink
cool.
display.
I really
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that one. That's
That
really
was
cool.
And
a
the-
genius idea.
The LED bar on the front, being customizable, I think
Mhm.
the same way that the Steam Deck has been modded, I think people will mod that to show so much stuff.
What if
yeah,
that could
and
be,
I
like,
mean-
battery life of controller? Like, if the controller has a battery, could
Yeah.
you theoretically set that so you can just look at your machine and just see the battery length?
I mean, yeah, if it communicates the battery life to the Steam machine, then yes.
Yeah, I
Which
mean,
it
I
should.
was hyped with just the idea of having a download progress bar because that means
That
I
could
can
also be cool.
I can switch away from that input entirely. Like if I have that and my Xbox plugged into my TV, I could switch over to my Xbox and watch some Netflix or something on that because it's easier to do media on that. And I can see how far my game is downloaded without having to switch back over. Just at a glance, I see how far
It's
is.
It's like the Wii U all over again. You can
good.
you can see the console while you're using the TV,
But good.
but just for
Um,
some stuff.
So and the reason we're mentioning some of this stuff is I think the biggest thing people have to realize is we're saying console, this is a proper PC console hybrid.
Yes.
We don't know what the Xbox is like, right? It is supposed to be a PC hybrid as well. However, it's just with how the handheld went, I'm almost just thinking it's just gonna be a PC because they're Microsoft. Like it's just gonna be a PC.
Yeah,
running
the next
Windows OS. Like
Xbox,
it's not
we'll
gonna
see.
be something like this,
It-
which is Steam OS. You can install Linux on it. You can install you can do
Well,
whatever you
it's-
want.
It's
It
not
is
even install Linux. It is Linux. The Steam
Well, yeah,
OS
Steam
thing
OS
is
is
just running
Linux.
on top of it.
But
It
if you
is
want to
straight
do
Linux,
Windows,
you can go
could.
into desktop mode and do whatever you want.
Yeah, and it's just a PC, except it's just what the Xbox is promising to be. Just I'm not
Mhm. Yep.
expecting the Xbox to do that.
Yeah. Which is awesome to be able to bring that more mainstream because it caters to the people that don't care about the PC side, but it also caters to the people that do because it is slightly interchangeable. You can replace, what was it, the I think it was the storage and the RAM
storage, yeah.
you can change out inside.
Yep.
So, like, you can upgrade it over time. You can't upgrade, like, the overall power of it or the graphics, but, you know, if you really want more RAM, you can add more RAM.
And it uses the same RAM modules that laptops do. So they're readily available, and you can just buy some.
Yeah.
And then, so let's what time are we at?
50.
Okay. So with some of the stats of this thing, obviously size, great. OS, Steam OS, great. It's going to be quiet. Power is going to be good, all that kind of stuff. Connectivity, just if you're interested, Bluetooth 5.3 and 2x2 Wi-Fi 6E. I think the PS5 is 5E. So I think, or PS5 Pro. So I think this will be higher Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi 6E is just allowing it to use the 6 gigahertz band, like the 5G is. I think this is just 6 gigahertz, which will pretty much only be used in certain situations.
Yeah,
like
it's not
streaming
open
to the VR
available
headset.
thing. Yeah, but it is
not
there.
many
It's
things
there.
use it. It is there.
CPU and GPU, 4K gaming at 60 FPS with FSR. FSR is the DLSS, right?
Upscaling. It's the upscaling technology of
Upscaling,
AMD.
Yeah. So that's pretty great. I've seen some people bashing that, but like 4K and 60 FPS is not bad as long as it can consistently run that. 120 is
Thing is,
obviously better, but if every game can do that,
It's them saying with FSR, because FSR means it's not actually 4K. So they're saying 4K 60, when in reality they probably mean 1440p 60, upscaled to 4K.
Which, honestly, I don't mind. Like, I
No,
am
that's not
completely
bad.
fine with that, especially because I usually play most of my games, especially when it comes to my laptop, in 1080p running 120 or more FPS. And so as long as it can do that with, like, minimal upscaling, that'll be great.
I think upscaling looks good enough nowadays that if you're using it on a big screen like TV in your living room, I don't think it'll be an issue.
no. The other big thing then is the storage. It will start with 2 storage sizes, 5, 12 gigabytes or 2 terabytes. That's kind of a wide jump, first of all. Like, that is not just 1 terabyte. It's either 500 gigabytes, which is like nothing, or 2 terabytes, which is pretty good. Like, you don't...
Well, 500 gigs is the size of the mid-tier Steam Deck. So it's not nothing. It's half a terabyte. But
I'm saying
you gotta keep in mind, the storage is expandable with a micro SD card. This is the easiest console to expand the storage in forever.
Here's my thing. The biggest micro SD card I've ever seen was like 500 gigabytes, and that was like $40, $50.
There are ones that are a few terabytes now, but they're like $100 to $150. They're expensive, but you can get them.
That's still better than Xbox's storage cards that are like $150 for the single terabyte expansion card.
That one was a bit crazy. So I googled it real quick. Here's 512 for 60 and 1 terabyte for 109.
Yeah, and this will have just a USB port, so you can plug in a USB hard drive or a USB SSD if you want, and put games on that. And there's no limitations like on the Xbox when you plug in a USB hard drive. Certain games have to be installed to the internal memory.
And that's the micro SD on the front, right? Next to those 2 USB ports.
Yep. So it is right there, and you can just pop one in.
So yeah, I'd say that's... We'll definitely see. I don't know. I feel like 1 terabyte would have been a little bit better. I know what you mean, but I feel like the Steam Deck's made for travel, whereas this is supposed to be ports. So if there's ever anything with media at the same time to be able to like save clips or something like that, along with your games, like 500 gigabytes is not a lot. However, I guess one nice thing with this will be compared to something to PlayStation. Yes, I think the PS5 had like 800 gigabytes, but you have like 100 gigabytes towards the OS. But because it's Linux, it shouldn't be taking up most of that. So probably you'll have at least 500, 510
less than
gigabytes.
20 gigs for the OS.
Yeah, like 10 to 20 gigs will be taken up. Versus if that was 512 on a PlayStation, you're probably at like 450.
And the same as the Steam Deck, you can replace the drive that's in it. You can you can just open it up super easy. All you have to do then, because you've taken out the OS, you have to plug in a USB drive with the OS on and reinstall it. But it's super simple. I wouldn't say easy, but it's straightforward.
So it has 4 USB ports. It has a power button, display port, HDMI, AC power connector, and Ethernet, and a Type-C. For the ports, I'm just looking through like some of the general specs for the people at home if they care, and then is running SteamOS 3. We're pretty
This
much
is
at
gonna
the
be
end, right?
like seriously game changing for a lot of the consoles out there. Like this is what Xbox was shooting for, but probably it's going to end up being cheaper than what Xbox was shooting for.
So I think that's where I want to end it. Let's talk about the consoles real quick. We have the PS6 rumored to be $600, which honestly is not awful if it has the same or more power than the PS5 Pro. I'm not saying that's great. 600 is still a lot. Like that is, we're still going up there. Realistically, these should be $400 to $500. But 600, if it's better than the Pro, is not an awful price. It all depends on also storage. The PS5 Pro has 2 terabytes. So if it's starting at 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes plus more strength, that's pretty good. Then we have the Xbox, which is supposed to be a PC. Even if it's a PC, though, I don't know what PC player is going to switch to Xbox when they already have their Xbox and PC games for $1,200. That is crazy.
The only way it's going to work out is if it can actually play both console and PC games on this one device. But even then, if it can do that, the amount of hardware you're going to have to pack into a tiny box, it's going to cost a lot. Like, people have been throwing out the number $1,200 a lot when it comes to this next-gen Xbox. Like, they're saying because of how much PC they're trying to involve in it, it's going to have to be around $1,200. And that is a lot more than a console player is willing to spend.
No.
Like, people were
Console
pretty
player's not gonna
upset
get
when
it.
the PS5 Pro was, what, $750? Like, that is pretty
I think
high.
it was $700, $750 now with the price increase. That's what I mean. Like,
People got upset when the Switch OLED was like $50 more.
but
Yeah.
then the console players aren't going to get it, and the PC players, they already have a PC, and they probably have a better PC that could emulate most of the console games or just
And
play
is a lot
the
more
Xbox console game,
upgradable than this is.
and
So.
way more freedom.
I think my PC right now is probably better than the Steam machine will be.
Mhm.
But it costs $500.
Here's
which
the
is cheaper.
thing.
But I had to build
What's
it myself.
the price point are we thinking of this? I'm definitely thinking it's gonna be cheaper than the Xbox. If it is
Yeah,
$1,000, it's dead on the run.
So real quick, I did tell this to Kieran yesterday when I called him, but I watched a guy break down basically all the components in it and how much they cost. And he said it's going to cost them around $425 each Steam machine, the low-end one that they make. And so if they're adding a similar amount that they did to how much it cost them to make the Steam Deck, I think it cost them like $2-3 something for that, and they added about $150 of additional cost onto that just to make some profit. And
yeah,
if they do a similar thing with this, we could see it being around $550-$600. I think it's probably going to be $600-$650. Just
I'm
for
definitely
this
thinking
lower
it'll be a
one.
little bit of a higher end. Like, if they're doing like 150, so like, I could see 650 if that's how much
I
it does.
think it'll
to
be
make.
a little bit more expensive than the PS5 Pro is. I don't think it's going to be a console price. I think it's going to be closer to a PC. But I put together a similar performance PC, like a parts list for it, and it came out to around $650. So I think since they're manufacturing everything, they'll probably have it like $500 manufacturing cost. So I think 600 to 700, maybe 650 somewhere in there is a reasonable
thinking
price.
650. I think if it's above 700, I think we're in the range of there's some problems here.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
think
think
it'll
it'll
be
be
in that
above
weird in
700.
between, because at 750, just get a PC. Like, you can get a really good
Yeah.
PC for 750, but if you want that ease of use, you also lower some power, but it's cheaper. That's why you're doing that.
Yeah.
So I think
But you gotta
700 is
think,
where it starts to
Steam
break
has-
into that.
Steam has the cheapest games. So with the
And-
Steam sales, any game you buy on the Steam machine is probably going to be a lower price than
Yes.
the game you buy on a PlayStation or an Xbox.
Speaking of Steam prices, this is another really big thing that I think is really interesting. Not only is it going to have all those sales, right? Steam sales are great. The summer sales, all that. Do you know what this will also be? This will be the first console in 11 years or so that will have free online multiplayer.
That's true. I didn't even think
no
about
subscriptions.
the Xbox has had one since the 360, and the PlayStation has one since the PS4, and then
And
Switch is doing
free
its own
cloud
thing.
saves.
So
Mhm.
free cloud saves, great deals, and free online play. And do you know what I was thinking? With this, I have Call of Duty on Steam. Could this be a revival of some older games too that are multiplayer? When this launches, could we see Black Ops 1, 2, like those older games having revival? Because I think this will get way more people than Xbox support, because this will be able to have the modded versions. People don't play those
Mhm.
older Call of Duties because they're unsafe, so they have to play the modded launchers. So they can play the modded launchers on this,
Yeah.
and we can have a revival, quote-unquote, console.
Seth,
player
you can
base.
play modded Terraria.
That's true.
I think the older multiplayer games might come back, but the new ones probably won't be able to be played on the Steam machine because it's Linux and anti-cheat doesn't function very well.
Mm.
So stuff like Fortnite or Call of Duty, like the new ones, won't run on this unless the devs of those games go and roll back the anti-cheat.
Anyways, we are over an hour, so maybe we'll have to come back someday and talk more about this. Maybe when we have
Well,
some
when
more
it actually
stuff to talk
happens,
about. Yeah,
Because it's not
when they
out yet,
release
by the
more.
way. This is all a lot of
Mhm.
speculation.
Being released
Before we end,
next
let's
year.
talk about it next year. Release date. So we'll see you next
I
year.
I saw somebody say Q1 2026, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
We'll
Anyway,
see.
thanks for
I'm up,
listening.
I'm Brain.
Nerd Rant. Follow us. Do things. Engage. Please
That's
join
JJ and
Discord.
Kieran.
Yep. Cool. Okay,
Bye.
bye.